Hello, and thanks for joining us on the podcast that discusses all things gaming. Coming to you from the home of Gen Con and the gaming capital of the world, this is The Established Facts. Hello, everyone, and thank you for listening to a new episode of The Established Facts. This is actually, for those of you who have caught our most recent episodes, our first show of 2014.
It'd be the first one recorded of 2014.
Well, yeah,
Just
first one
released 2
recorded.
weeks ago.
Sure.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, a back issue. Way to go.
I know. Well, it happens.
It happens. We hope that you have enjoyed everything that we have put out there in the ether since 2010? 2011?
Is it something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
It'll
Yeah.
be 2011, July of
It'll be
2011. 3 years this year.
three completed years of podcasting in
with us?
July.
Two more years. We'll have to celebrate.
That's right. Yeah.
Mario
Yeah.
shots.
Yep. Yep. All right. So, I think that this topic is probably going to be fairly passionate, so I don't really want to delay too much. We'll go ahead and do our introductions, and we'll go ahead and start with my right.
Dr. Deb is here.
This is Josh.
This is Prime.
This is Ragar, a.k.a. Jeremy.
Hey guys, this is Derek.
This is Tony.
And of course, this is your host for the episode, Big Don. So, with Wizards of the Coast, they have got, for those of you who don't know who Wizards of the Coast or WotC, for some of you who might like the acronym a little bit better, Wizards produces several different hobby-style games. They're owned by Hasbro, unfortunately. And
With
Another passionate topic for a later date.
well, yeah.
With you on that one.
You know, they distribute Magic the Gathering and several different Star Wars and I believe, I don't know, there's probably
There's like
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Judo and
Yeah, that's right.
Yu-Gi-Oh is different.
That's right.
company.
There's a number
but
of
they
games.
also are obviously they're known for Dungeons and Dragons.
Right, and that's actually what our topic is today.
Yeah, because they're celebrating their 40th
40th year
year.
as a brand, as a franchise, kind of as a certain wrestling promoter might say, the granddaddy of them all is Dungeons and Dragons. That's where a lot of, obviously there are several games that came out around the same time that are very similar to the Dungeons and Dragons franchise, but Dungeons and Dragons is probably the best known, and especially the best known D20 style role-playing game that is on the market. So, without further ado, we're going to go right into our versus topic of, should Wizards, or WotC, end the Dungeons & Dragons franchise? And we're going to give, since she's the only one here, we're going to give dibs to ladies first.
I have to say yes, they should.
I am in 100% disagreement. I believe they should stick around.
I'm going to have to agree with Josh on this one for a change.
I'm going to say no, they should not fold in the cards or throw the towel in.
I believe that they should close their GM books and give it up.
I'm going to definitely say no.
Okay, wow, that came out a little bit different. I'm going to say no. It came out a little bit different than I expected, but nonetheless, it seems like we got about 5 people in general that say no and a couple that say yes, but
I think I'm
go
going
ahead,
to get a
Ragnar.
butter knife to cut the tension.
Yeah, right? Well, Ragnar, why don't you start us off?
I was thinking we might give a little background as to why
Okay.
we're doing this question.
Okay.
With the introduction of Pathfinder, it was kind of a, this is D&D 3.5. They sold the rights. Pathfinder or Paizo acquired that and created the Pathfinder role. And then there's also D&D 4, 4th edition, and 4th edition wasn't received well by the fans, but Pathfinder was pretty heavily taken. Yeah. So that's kind of where this is coming from, in case there are people out there who don't know.
D&D Next.
Right, which is still rolling out. It's still in beta, isn't it? Yeah, it's still in
Well,
development.
they've actually stopped playtest and have announced that a new edition will be coming. They just have not announced the date. I think they're shooting for maybe next year.
Gen Con probably.
Will it be 5th edition?
They haven't given a specific title yet.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think they're just calling it D&D Next right now, but we'll see.
The big thing for
Maybe
me,
they'll come out like Microsoft and call it D&D 1.
no.
It's the all-encompassing D&D.
Yeah. It just has 5 different variants of the same rules that they've had over the last 40 years. Like, it's just
That's
it's an
certainly
omnibus.
a topic for another
It's an
discussion.
omnibus of rules.
Just turned into a choose-your-own-adventure book.
Go ahead, Tony. Sorry.
Wow. Oh, God.
No dice needed.
If you did not like this ending, turn to page 35.
But understand, no matter what anyone says, you
bookmark the
can't turn
entire-
back.
That's right. Make sure you bookmark every decision you make, so you can always go back and see what happened.
Yes, because
Anyhow.
the way this book is designed, you can only page forward. But the big reason why I'm looking at, I said no, is because with any great setup in any kind of environment, you need competition. Yes, there are other types of no, but I know that that's part of what you were going to say, but the reason why I'm mostly saying it is not because of like just giving people options. It's more the innovation drive of it, the creation aspect. When you have a competitor, you think more.
I know, but honestly, WotC has not been a real competitor.
I would rather see it sold to somebody else than die.
I understand that. Well, me too, but we were talking about WotC itself.
But no. But the way you said it was, should they kill it? Basically,
Should Wizards of the Coast stop producing Dungeons and Dragons? It does not necessarily say that it can't go somewhere else.
Yeah, we did. The question's not necessarily should Dungeons and Dragons.
Listen, we
die.
are made up of a bunch of game masters and players, and it has to be vague.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. How else can
what
you
you
fudge
can't
the
see
dice?
is I'm glaring across the table.
The reason why I say yes is because even back in 3.5 days, in 3.0 days, the model that WotC has taken, and they have not shifted, they've actually gotten worse with this with 4, is all that they're about is putting out more books.
Yep.
And
That's where the money is.
it is until you get to a point where you get into rules overload. Whereas Paizo, who is very successful, has chosen a model of, okay, well, we may put out, what is it, like 4 books a year?
They put out 4
books a
main
year.
books a year, but they put out about
A book a month.
5,000
Right, but
adventure packs.
those are adventure passes.
I know.
Not
I know.
rules books. Let's
Right.
make a distinction on that.
No, and I agree. That's actually what one of my points was going to be. But go ahead.
Yeah, so, and they've gotten worse with 4th, where it was like 1 book a month, and it
Holy
was just...
cow.
It was...
Yeah, there's 3 game masters, guys.
$40 a piece or 60?
It was
40.
40.
Okay.
It was still,
Oh, I know.
120 just to have
And
the
it's a
rules for how to run this
thin-
silly thing.
It's a thin book too, and they're not. And I just, I think that, like we were talking about with Hasbro, I think Hasbro has influenced them too much.
Yep.
And I don't think that they're really a hobby gaming company anymore. It's more like, okay, let's just print stuff out and they'll just buy it.
Yeah, and I see them. I've seen Hasbro. What Hasbro has done with Magic the Gathering the same way.
True. Magic has always had that issue. they've had some good sets, they've had some really bad sets, but I mean, it is.
That was built into the design of it when they first came out with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That wasn't the case with D&D.
right.
No, true. But I just think, at least in my opinion, under the management of Hasbro and how Hasbro has been dictating how Wizards operates, honestly, I would personally rather see Wizards split back off of Hasbro.
I
But
agree.
that's a completely different topic. But I think if Hasbro or if Wizards does not give up D&D, then they really need to figure out some other kind of management strategy under Hasbro.
Well, that jumps right into the mindset that I had, is that, it's brand image. It's not necessarily that Wizard needs to stop producing D&D. It's that they need to differentiate themselves from what else is out there. And they just have a bad brand image right now.
Yep.
I think if they were able to split from Hasbro, maybe that's not what they do. Maybe it's just a joint venture of some sort or some subsidiary. But, have a different group. Maybe it's more of a gamer group that focuses on a product for gamers.
Perfect example of the situation I think that you're talking about is the BioWare EA situation.
Exactly.
Where EA is more of an umbrella over BioWare, but BioWare still maintains their entire development rights of how they previously had done development, through even pushing back release dates because the quality of the game was not up to their release standards. And but that's been a problem with EA in the past, where they're pushed for release and it wasn't up to standards. But I think if they enacted that kind of model
Blizzard.
under Hasbro,
The company Blizzard was specifically the group I was thinking of, because they have more ownership of the things they produce.
right? But I do think in a situation like this, that the BioWare EA situation would be a perfect representation model of how Wizards should probably sit under the Hasbro banner if they're going to stay with Hasbro. They really do need to figure. The biggest thing I think it boils down to is they need to figure out where they're going,
Hasbro needs to figure out where
they're
going
with it, because
They're dragging
kind of-
others down with them.
We're in a market right now where there are hundreds, near thousands of different role-playing rule sets.
Board games.
And the statement you made, I think, is the one that makes the most sense. We're looking at it from a perspective of they do need to differentiate themselves. Okay. My original argument was going to be towards competition, because without competition, they're not pushed. As you said, they're not pushed to make bigger and better products. Pathfinder, Paizo, they've made the routes of, well, here's the core rule system, which is almost identical to 3.5 with a few tweaks. But here are also our alternate rules. Options for you to make our game different than what it was for 3.5. So they're not taking away what was 3.5, but they're giving you an alternative. Things like using damage reduction for armor, or the way you roll to hit, ideas like that. But the other element of competition is if competition doesn't exist, then the customers suffer.
Yep.
I say this as a pro wrestling fan. I believe that even with all the work that TNA Impact Wrestling has been doing, and with Ring of Honor as it may be, those are the two next biggest name wrestling companies that probably the average Joe person doesn't even know who they are, because the WWE has such a stranglehold on professional wrestling as it is. The NFL.
Internet service providers.
Internet service providers. The same time, it's the idea of customers win out when there's more competition.
I completely disagree that there's no competition, but Deb, you had your hand up.
Well, now I'm trying to remember what it was because he went somewhere else. So now I'm trying to swim back to where we were, try to
you want me to
catch
come
the
back here?
tide. Yeah, why
Just
don't you?
keep
Because now
swimming.
he's over
Just
talking
keep
about Ring of
swimming.
Honor, and I'm over in
Yeah.
like John Cena world now. I'm like, wait,
If
no,
you-
that wasn't what I was.
competition
Just
isn't
keep
just
swimming.
between the two similar products, which is D&D and Paizo. There's also Savage Worlds, Hero System,
Legend of the...
Legend of the Five Rings, all sorts of indie products. All that provides competition. It doesn't have to be D&D versus Pathfinder, which are basically the same type of high fantasy D20 systems.
I think what they're trying to do with D&D 4.0 because we've made a lot of comparisons about this in the past, was they were trying to see MMOs like World of Warcraft as their competition.
That's really that's really where they went.
Oh, I know.
We've always joked D&D 4th video game edition.
Video game edition, which make great rules for a board game.
Yeah,
There we go.
Okay, where my brain was at was in the Hasbro Wizards thing, and then he went somewhere else. Okay, back to that. So, and again, it's a bigger topic, so I'm just going to touch on it. That I don't know if Wizards decided it was okay for them to be bought by Hasbro, or if Hasbro just came in and said, "Grr, we're bigger, we're buying you." I don't know how that went down.
they needed the money,
And
Well,
it's
Which is
not
interesting.
necessarily a bad decision.
which is the
either.
same thing that happened to BioWare and EA.
fair
BioWare
enough.
needed the money.
But the problem was Hasbro entered a world which, no offense to Hasbro, you listening out there, you do not understand. You are not playing with 3-year-olds who want to play with Legos, and you are not playing with 13-year-olds who want to shoot things in a video game. You are dealing with people who have had a hobby that they've been passionate about for some of these people 40 years. Okay? You stepped into it and you said, "Oh, we're just going to do this and they'll be okay with it." And basically you Mario jumped up a system that had been doing for 40 years. And you wonder why everyone basically gave you the finger and ran away. Well, you basically
Don't hold back. Except
also
this
really
is a
cool.
family friendly.
you on a system that people have been passionate about for 45 years.
Mark that off.
And then everyone wonders why, when I'm wandering around Gen Con with my brother, just, chilling and doing whatever, we specifically wandered and looked at the group who was playing Dungeons & Dragons. I said, "That's the Dungeons & Dragons group, bro." He said, "Okay." We keep wandering. We found the Pathfinder room. There was not that thing was stuffed to capacity, okay? I watched the world's largest Pathfinder game go on, okay?
I was actually walking past looking for you guys, and they had escorted me and my friend out because there's too many people in there.
Yeah, they did the same thing to me. Exactly.
They didn't do that to me, 'cause
and then I
just
looked at my
walked around
brother
looking for
and I was like,
everybody.
"What do you think it happened?" And he was like, "I think Pathfinder basically said you guys are idiots and we're going to take this horse and we're going to ride it into the sunset." And I said, "Yeah, basically." So it's not I agree that competition is good, but I'm going to switch those words. It's got to be good competition. And right now, D&D 4 is not good competition to Pathfinder. It sucks. If they can save their bacon with D&D Next, I will actually stand up and applaud. I will stand at this table and I will applaud if they can save their bacon, because I don't know that they can.
I thought she said she could stand on the table. That would have been entertaining.
I don't know if it can hold me. If we can figure out if it can hold me, I will. And I will have them take a picture and
I
I'll
would
post
hold
it on
you.
Facebook.
I just don't know about anybody else.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
thinking, anybody else in this room? Except maybe Jeremy.
And you all have heard me. If they make a comeback and it's a great system, and it might be,
We're
considering the
doubling
people they
what?
got working on it, it might.
Always making fun of my weight.
I
Yep.
just basically think that they came into a world they didn't understand. It's like, "Oh, we can play this game," and no, you can't. It was a 6th grader trying to play against Kobe Bryant.
Okay, so that being said, in regards to competition, I think that 4th edition came out before Pathfinder did, I'm pretty sure.
Yes,
It's-
it did.
1 year.
So, at that point in time, D&D or Wizards of the Coast or whatever didn't really have any direct competition. Like, they didn't have any specific, "Oh, this is another fantasy role-playing game that has equal popularity as you. You should probably step up your game." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was more of a, okay, well, how can we get the younger crowd to give us more money?
Yeah.
Let's try 4th edition with more simplistic rules and, see how that works. Obviously, it didn't really pan out well for them. But,
I get to go next.
I just have one simple thing to say about that situation. They use beta testing in a production environment.
right, exactly.
That's what they did. They, instead of going to the community and asking them, they released it and looked at the fallout.
Well, I think
But-
the consequences is because they lacked direction due to the fact that they didn't have any direct competition.
But they
didn't
took
really-
the exact opposite approach for Next.
Oh, yeah.
They went straight to the
Yeah,
audience.
I completely agree because
Yeah,
they
after
realized
everything
they
fell apart
completely
around them,
screwed
and we
up.
went, "Oh, look, we're idiots."
Which is why I think that it's a smart idea that they re-released 2nd edition. As far as from a business perspective, because when you look at the AD&D or whatnot, all the old books, you're hard pressed to find, anyways. So the fact that they're starting to re-release them, I think, is definitely beneficial for
I
like the old
agree.
school game players.
Because people still play first, they still play second.
I know a ton of people that
and,
still play second edition.
But I mean, if as far as Hasbro is concerned, I completely agree with you right now that they got into an area that they're not equipped to deal with. Fantasy Flight did that with UFS, and because Fantasy Flight is a board game company, and you start trying to make everything in your wheelhouse. So you start trying to make everything into a board game
Right.
through Fantasy Flight.
And it's not the first time it's happened. It's not
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, Hasbro. Either. I mean, it's happened many times in
Yeah.
other arenas.
Hasbro did it a couple times with Wizard or with Magic too,
Yeah.
and they realized that they can't do that.
No. And, yeah. Sorry, Don.
No, it's fine. That's fine.
We have a lot of pent up emotion.
Yeah, that's fine.
This
That's
is a
totally
good.
fine.
Not that we haven't expressed our anger about this on multiple occasions.
It's okay.
So our
okay, but this
audiences
episode
are
is
therapists.
That's right. This episode is specifically geared for
This is a free episode. You didn't have
So-
to pay for it.
I am going to take it. I'm going to take it upon myself to offend every one of you
Oh God!
Bring it.
Good luck.
because I think that I agree with Josh's opinion that Josh and Debbie's opinion that good competition creates a good environment to breed new product out of. I disagree with the fact that Hasbro doesn't know what they're doing, because Hasbro has been a game development company for many years before they bought WotC.
D&D ain't Clue.
Exactly.
That's all right.
Thank you.
It doesn't have to
Thank
be.
you. Yes,
it doesn't.
it does.
No, it does not.
Yes, it
No,
does.
it does not. And
Yes.
let me. No.
You let him talk.
Okay.
You let him talk.
You're both pretty. Okay.
Here's the
Don,
thing.
you got the floor.
Here's the thing.
All right. Don's on. Derek's on deck.
You know, we have compared and contrasted several different genres of competition between, you know, wrestling and between just in general in the beginning of this episode. But when it comes down to it, a proper formula for gaming can translate from one game genre to the next. However, I think where Wizards went wrong when they went from 3.5 to 4th ed was losing the rights to the rules that made them the most popular role-playing game on the market for their time. Because if you look at the company in general, Wizards owned Dungeons and Dragons far before they were owned by Hasbro. Mm-hmm. And they had all the opportunity in the world to come up with a case for their Hasbro management, if that's what pushed them into releasing 4th ed the way that they did, to say, we don't think this is going to work for this specific genre of role-playing based on the last 4 editions, because I count third ed and 3.5 as, even though they were kind of similar, they were different.
Yeah, I agree.
The last 4 editions that we've come out with, I don't think this is going to work. However, the problem was they play tested it in a Star Wars campaign that worked perfectly for the direction that they wanted to go, and when they said, holy cow, this is awesome, Star Wars has never done better, which it didn't make any sense. Well, it does now, but at the time it didn't make any sense to me why they dropped the Star Wars brand. But
Whatever.
I think that was a result of what happened with 4th ed, because they were losing so much popularity with 4th ed, and 4th ed and Star Wars was the same system, and people didn't like 4th ed because it wasn't 3.5. And so they stopped buying Star Wars because it was the exact same system, but they didn't realize that Star Wars was the playtest ground for that system. So,
I need to make a quick note to correct what we stated earlier. The Open Game License 3.5 is not a owned property. It is now in the public
domain.
availability.
Right.
It is a public
Right.
copyright license. So
Which
Paizo
is-
does not specifically own it. Anyone can create content for Open Game License, but it has to follow the certain criteria.
Without
Right.
paying dues to
well,
Hasbro.
and that's why if you look at the back of pretty much every Paizo or Pathfinder book, it has that OGL license. This is compatible with 3.5. This is compatible with whatever Pathfinder's doing.
And I love it when they do stuff like that.
Yeah, it makes for a richer market. It allows you to cross over some of your favorite
Aspects.
your favorite aspects of when you did your retro gaming to a lot of the new style and,
I
and
understand.
abbreviated skills and stuff. But I think that the biggest problem that WotC has now is their recovery. They need to make a point to come out and put a product on the market that, though it's probably not going to get a very big rush in the very beginning, it's going to have a long-lasting effect, because the situation that they're in, and if you look at several businesses in general in American history that started out with something that nobody else had seen, they got to a point where they lost focus because they let people in leadership take the role that they should not have been in because they didn't understand what they had, and then all of a sudden they fell on their butt. Luckily, Gen Con did this. We love Gen Con. Gen Con had Gen Con SoCal, they had Gen Con Europe, they had Gen Con Indy. And
Australia.
because of Gen Con SoCal, they had to declare Chapter 11 bankruptcy to try and recover a lot of those losses because they had such a big to-do everywhere else, and it was so close to every other event that was in SoCal.
There was additional scandal.
That's fine, yeah.
Revolving around Star Wars and stuff like that.
But they lost a ton of money. However, last year they had a record-breaking attendance at Gen Con Indy of 49,000. They made $47 million for the city, not alone what they made for themselves. So, to me, that shows me that a company that rights their wrongs and focuses on a new direction doesn't have to close their doors, doesn't have to shut their books and put them away. They just need to take the opportunity to learn from their mistakes, because you learn more from your mistakes than you do from your
if
successes.
your holding company allows you to, okay?
That's true.
Because I can almost say that I can guarantee that somebody at WotC went up to Hasbro and said, "Okay, guys, this is dumb."
I'm sure.
And the leadership who has the purse strings, who has the veto power, said, "No, we need to get the WoW players. We need to get all those people." You can't do anything if you're WotC. You can't do anything without Hasbro's blessing.
Which is partly why I said that I would like to see even if they're staying under the Hasbro banner.
But that's also depending on whether or not there was even someone to argue, because my point is they had a testing market for that same system. It was just a different label.
I agree with Derek here. There's a lot of things that can go on from the business side that...
Perfect example is what happened in EA. The whole scandals of all the games that got screwed up by EA management, the EA parent company management going, you have to do this, and you have to do it this way.
And Mass Effect, all of the writers weren't included for the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I have not played the ending. I have not played. I just bought the trilogy for Xbox 360. Don't ruin it.
No spoilers.
Don't ruin it.
But no. But I'm just saying, that's why, like I said earlier, I'd like to see Hasbro give more creative rights back to Wizards.
Yeah.
And
so many game companies do.
They definitely need to do that. If Paizo did not get, I'm going to the other aspect of your argument. If Paizo did not get the licensing for this, I would be right now playing 3.5.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a universal statement here.
It has nothing to do with the fact that Paizo got the licensing.
Yeah. Right.
It has to. That the reason why I'm not playing for Ed, it has to do with For Ed. I do not like For Ed.
Right.
And the 3.5 books, and this is what kills me. It's like, oh, we have to have the new books out. Those books don't immediately disintegrate after the new edition comes out. You can still play
They
them.
still exist.
And
And all the people who play 2.
one
Dungeons and
thing
Dragons
that
2.
Paizo
should
did
be
that I
paper
think
or
was
dust.
Yeah, but they're not.
genius was before they released even their first book, I'm pretty sure, the core rule book, they said, hey, this is how you convert all of your 3.5 stuff to our system.
Yes.
It's brilliant.
I mean, that right
Brilliant
there,
play.
you've already got people who have had started playing your system before your core rulebook even hits, and then you have people who pre-order your core rulebook, and they go, "Oh, very cool. Okay, I see where this is different. I really like this."
They did that with their Adventure
That's
Pass.
why.
I mean, it's
brilliant.
like, to me that is beautiful marketing strategy.
That's why I've always called Pathfinder D&D 3 3/4.
Well, a lot of people call it 3.75.
They love
but-
hearing that,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
There were tons and tons of D20 or I guess even other systems books that I'd go out and find because it had interesting ideas
Yeah.
layered through it.
Yep.
And if it didn't convert easily, I'd look into how I could do it myself.
Right.
It's nice to have that there.
Go ahead, Deb.
So I had a thought, and I'm not exactly sure. I want to have you guys discuss this because you could kind of take this both directions. So back before Pathfinder was invented, they came out with 4, and then as you said, Pathfinder didn't come out until about a year later. So in that moment, we could say D&D really didn't have competition in that genre, right? Do we agree? They were
They
the kid
didn't
on the
have
block.
major competition.
Right, they
I mean,
didn't
there
have
were
anything
other
major.
systems
Right.
out, but they didn't
there was
have
nobody
major
who could really
competition.
swing with them.
Right.
Was because in that position, nobody, unless you all had a crystal ball and you know how big Pathfinder was going to be, nobody knew they were going to get any. That was all they had.
Right.
Heck,
I bring to you to a point, and I'm going to actually, this is sort of me being with the good competition point. They didn't have any competition against them. Was that why they got lazy?
3 to 6 months before 4th Ed came out. Mm-hmm. What was the playing field like?
Yeah.
There really wasn't
There really
that much
wasn't.
on it.
Yeah.
Right.
D&D had 85 to 90% of the entire RPG base of
Yeah.
And even D&D minis at that point in time was still doing pretty good.
Yeah, D&D minis was still big.
So-
I mean, they even had a big conversion from
VTM, I
3.5
think, would
to
probably
4th for
Vampire
those.
the Masquerade. I think would probably be the largest second.
Yeah,
Yeah, but even
and that's a
they're-
totally different system. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about
Right.
a completely different niche
But
I
market.
usually do
that's-
Old World, which that's until recently was out of production. So
That's
Yeah.
still, I think, the closest
Yeah,
competition they
absolutely.
So-
Yeah, White Wolf.
had. Which, White Wolf.
My,
Thank you.
my
CCP
point
White Wolf,
is
yeah.
that the good
That was
competition
CCP. We already owned
what
them.
might
did it.
have, if D&D had had a decent competition in that point where they would really have to be sharp and focused, maybe
Yeah.
we wouldn't have the mess that was 4th. So you say, okay, Deb, did you just go back on what you said? No, I really don't think that Dungeons and Dragons. This is my opinion, and you know what? I may have to eat my words in a year and a half, and I will eat it with cream on top. But I don't think Dungeons and Dragons is going to be able to recover. And part of me is very sad, but from what I saw at Gen Con, and then I see what they roll out with the adventure pathways, and I see the. Dear God, they
Gamers?
made a Guinness Book of World Records, people. It wasn't Dungeons and Dragons that did it. Pathfinder did it.
I can give you kind of a quick layout of how they could do this.
Okay, you going to tell them what their business strategy needs to be?
Start with a video game system, like
They did
Baldur's
that.
Gate.
4th.
No.
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's
Sorry.
Gate. yeah.
Okay.
Go with a Baldur's
Icewind
Gate
Dale.
2 style. Get people introduced to the system through that.
'Kay.
And then come out with a book series to follow it.
Neverwinter Nights. The one new one that was supposed to come out that never has.
Never winner.
That's
Yeah,
going to
Neverwinter.
be a
Neverwinter.
good way
It's
to
out.
restart
out.
that
Oh, is it?
branding.
Yeah.
They'll get introduced into that PC gaming market, and then get people kind of in the platform between,
They
prob-
cannot make any mistakes, though.
No.
Yes.
They can't. They can't.
Well, and
I don't
the-
think they can jump straight to a book.
The only problem that I have with that strategy is DDO has been out for years.
I just read this announcement
So-
on Role Players Chronicle. Wizards of the Coast charges into the biggest and most exciting year of Dungeons & Dragons history with the Tyranny of Dragons. This action-packed storyline starts this summer and will fuel D&D entertainment experiences that will have players reeling in anticipation as they prepare to take on the most villainous dragon of all time, Tiamat. The reason why I mention this is one of the specific things it puts in here is a multi-platform experience. They are aiming for video games, mobile games, in-store play at local hobby stores, and more as part of their 40th anniversary deal. They are shooting for that crowd. Paizo's doing the same with
Oh, yeah,
their work
yeah.
with
My
the,
argument is all it sounds
Pathfinder
like is they're
Online.
doing what Pathfinder has done for the last couple of years, and they're just finally
That-
saying, "Let's do
but
this
if it
their
wasn't
way."
for D&D, then Pathfinder wouldn't even be around.
That
No, I'm not arguing that
and
point at
Dungeons-
all. I'm
Dungeons
saying
and
they had a
Dragons-
gold mine, and they basically said, "Screw it."
But Dungeons and Dragons has owned many licenses to different
it's the
platform.
name they're
or-
bringing with this.
Yeah, I mean
Right.
Baldur's Gate was one of the most. I mean, there's still people that talk about playing Baldur's Gate,
Right.
And that was one of the most popular Dungeons and Dragons campaign settings for the longest time.
Company just re-released, I think it was Baldur's Gate 2 in the enhanced edition. It's been
Yeah.
graphics
Yeah.
up and then made available on like the iPad and on
Yeah,
Steam. And
I mean, who
Well,
doesn't want to play?
The game Homeworld.
Forgotten
when,
Realms.
when Gearbox bought out the IP for Homeworld, they're releasing 10-year copies of the game.
I mean, it's good, but
It's an
They've got
uphill
themselves
battle.
in a position
It
that if
really
they
is.
take one more misstep,
They've got a ladder climb. They've seriously got a ladder climb.
they're in a very, very deep hole with a lot of gamers who loved them for a long time. And I think
We've
that's
got
what they did.
So many missteps with them. I mean, and not just with Fourth Ed. We also have
D&D the movie.
the movies.
Oh, God.
Oh God.
We've had the conversation.
Yeah.
You know what that takes?
The Microsoft Flop series.
Yeah.
I can't think of which one it is. There was a series of games, Dragon Siege, which is a D&D based series, came out through Microsoft.
I mean, I don't even know if is DDO even
Dungeon Siege?
around.
No,
Yeah, it's still on
Dragon
Solos.
Siege?
It's a
Yeah,
free,
it's a free
Dragon
online.
something.
It's a free online game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but I mean,
Eh?
it's not.
I mean, Neverwinter is
It's new.
part of the. Yeah, I mean, Neverwinter is their newest addition to basically the same style of online play.
So I am very skeptical about anything that WotC is putting out right now, and
Which is why it's going to be an uphill battle, because a lot of people are skeptical of
But
it.
here's the thing: they're never gonna, in my opinion, unless they actually sell the brand, they're not gonna stop putting out content for Dungeons and Dragons,
Oh,
even
no.
if it goes to books.
So long as
Or
they still
something.
make profit.
They're gonna. I
Right.
mean, here's the problem:
They
WotC
will.
owns Magic the Gathering.
They're going to make a.
They're
profit
never
off
gonna
that.
not make profit.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, the company as an umbrella company, they're always going to have that cash cow.
But I come back to the point of Hasbro. If Hasbro's looking at your, I'll get into accountant brain for a second. If Hasbro's looking at your numbers, what's coming in and what's going out, and you see Magic the Gathering making money hand over fist, and you see D&D barely holding its own, is Hasbro going to go, oh yeah, you can keep doing that? I
Wizards
think
could very
Hasbro's gonna-
clearly look at them and go, but
We're not getting rid of this brand.
No, they can't. You don't know they can.
I mean, they're a
we-
subsidiary.
that's-
but they have the
They're
power
a
over.
subsidiary. They have.
Magic also.
They own those trademarks.
That was
they
the
own
argument
those
that-
copyrights.
But that's the point. I don't know.
Derek
We
and
don't
I were
know.
making.
Because I don't know what the agreement was when they were bought. So I don't know
None
how
of
much
us
power
do.
they
We're
have.
putting a lot of blame on Hasbro, and it could be all
yeah, I mean,
Wizards'
Hasbro
fault.
could have been like, "Don't release that." And WotC's like, "Shut up!"
We've been doing this for close to 40 years.
got
Right? Yeah.
Nobody
We
can
know
touch
what we're
us.
doing.
But what we're saying on the mics is factual.
Yeah.
So whatever we say, is
That's right.
true.
That's
Right, it's on the internet. It
As soon
has
as
to
it's
be
on the
true.
internet,
No.
it's. I mean, we are the Wikipedia. Oh,
I just,
We don't wanna be
I
them.
get
We don't
this
wanna
picture
be
like
of
Yahoo
you sitting
Answers.
around, sitting around a game table with you lovely folks in about 15 or 20 years, where we'll still be doing this dumb podcast. Yeah, right. And saying, you remember the good old days, and they were talking about D&D, how it slowly declined, and they kept coming out with crappy product, and we're just like, you remember when they were good? I remember when I was young and laughing, and I actually had stuff, and that was fun.
It's like people
too bad it was
talking-
20 years ago. I mean, it's like people,
Okay.
no, the good
It's like
old
but
days.
in the
Talking
same
about
in the
second
same respect,
Right.
in the same respect, well, yeah, that absolutely.
Yes.
In the same respect, though, you have to look at socially. The market has never been better for them
Yeah.
because everything is geek speak, geek chic, geek this, geek that. You can't walk into a regular department store. I mean, Walmart carries Settlers of Catan. For crying out loud.
GameStop.
GameStop. I just bought Smash Up at GameStop yesterday. Like, I mean, they have, they got. I had a guy. Okay, real quick.
Oh, yeah,
deviate.
sure.
I mean, it won't take me long. I had a
bet.
guy at GameStop ringing me up, and he saw me talking to a couple about a couple of the board games that they had in there, and he goes, "What are those games?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" You carry games and you've never even heard of them?
You
And
have
he's
just
like, I
offended
just
me.
don't. He's a video gamer, so
You
he
have
doesn't
just
play a lot of.
offended
I said, well, okay, so Zombie Side is blah, and King of Tokyo is blah, and
offended.
that game up there, Lords of Waterdeep, that's like the greatest resource management game of all time. And so I mean,
I still need to buy that.
they have tons of the not tons. They have
good.
they have a really good selection of board games, but
Depending on the store.
well, yeah, depending on the store. This one's
depending on
at the mall downtown. So, so it was a decent selection of board games and things like that. But I think that because there are so many people that are open to the experience of sitting down and playing a different kind of game, they're totally down with the retro family games like Monopoly, and they're down with the Game of Life and stuff like that. But they want a new experience. That all it's going to take is for Wizards to piggyback off of a couple successful launches of whether it be video gaming or a book series or, I mean, for crying out loud, an app game. Look at
There's a ridiculous
Angry Bird.
amount
There's
of
like
money to be made in
9,000
mobile
Angry
apps.
Birds.
Dear God,
now.
yes, yeah, or Tiny
So-
Tower, and then the Pocket Planes. You know,
D&D
Nimblebit
Mobile.
production.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
There you
Tiny
go.
have all
Death
these-
Star.
You
Tiny
have,
Death
right.
Star.
You have all
Pocket
these companies.
planes.
You have all
Oh,
these
this is
companies
a
that have
text-based
come out of.
Tiny Trains.
They have come out of the woodwork.
Rebirth of the Mud in a mobile app.
They've come out of the woodwork and they just develop these little, these little mini games that consume us. So, in my opinion, all they have to do is come out with a couple really good teaser games like that to generate enough buzz and enough interest, and then they do a really big release at a San Diego Comic Con or Gen Con or Dragon Con, and they just continue to build anticipation, and then finally they make their release, and all of a sudden they're back in the market.
You
I
know,
agree.
Paizo could be listening to us right now,
That's
and developing
fine.
it right
That's,
now.
I don't think Paizo is scared. I think they're I think they want. In my opinion, if I worked for Paizo, I would be praying. I would be calling them and saying, "You could do this." Like I would be praying for them to come out with really good content, because now it's like, oh man, okay, are you going to buy the new Underdark series from Paizo, or are you going to buy the new Underdark series from WotC? Let's buy them both. Hey, everybody wins. I mean, it's
I could totally see employees of Paizo being like, "Hey guys, we just finished playing our D&D game."
yeah, right. But I mean, my point is, I think right now, it's too early to say Paizo has won and WotC needs to hang it up. I think
You have the,
I think
you have
in-
the right to think that.
in 3 to 5 years, I think the market is going to be a completely different place than it is right now, because I have a 4-year-old that likes to play board games with me, and in 4 to 5 years, he's going to be 8 or 9, and he may want to sit down and play his first game of Dungeons and Dragons. If it's not in the market, I'm going to be like, well, son, let me dust off these old 3.5 books,
Aww.
Or I'm going to be like, well, let me go and get 12th edition, and we'll rock it out,
On the iPad 11.
Yeah, we're moving from the amateur circuit into the pro circuit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you're asking a large company to be innovative.
Yeah.
I
They gotta
mean,
be.
Not fail every other version.
Car companies do it all the time.
No, you act like Microsoft hasn't done this for all of their existence.
Right.
Screw up every other version.
Well, I
Hey.
point to you. How much
I mean,
competition does
everybody
Microsoft
does it.
have?
Here's the thing: people are. I think
Apple.
in this day and age, people are more forgiving when you come out with stuff that flops at first and then is successful again, and they're like, you know what? I really didn't like the iPhone 3S, but I love my iPhone 4 or whatever. And it's like
it's I
whether
blame
it's-
Microsoft for that.
I'm just saying,
Well,
McDonald's used to sell pizza. Remember, they had sold
Denny's
pizza at
used
one
to have
time.
beer, which I still don't understand why they got rid of. Not really sure. about
Gamers would
that.
be in for groves.
Yes.
Everybody open 24 hours.
Apple used to use Apple Maps.
Right, right. Which is, and America used to use Yahoo Maps.
MapQuest.
MapQuest. Yeah.
Gonna
What's a
barf.
quest?
Why am I in Kentucky? I was going to Texas.
Your path is blocked by a spectral wolf.
Anyhow, so with all that being said, as you can see, this is definitely a topic that we are all passionate about. We hope that you are just as passionate about it.
And not traumatized.
And not
like that.
traumatized by, yeah, for goodness sakes. If you are new to the role-playing game world, maybe you are an established gamer, but you haven't gotten a chance to check out Dungeons & Dragons or Pathfinder, we definitely ask that you would go and experience those things. They, for us, some of the best gaming stories for us have come out of role-playing games like that. I definitely, if you have any confusion, check out some of our earlier episodes. We actually compare a lot of different things about the systems. And
if you have questions beyond, feel free to ask us
yeah,
on
please
Facebook.
hit us up on Facebook. We have our Established Facts Facebook page. We'd love to see you on there. Just comment. Let us know what you think of our episodes and whether in 20 years this would be a dumb thing for us to be doing.
If you guys enjoy it, that's great.
Yeah.
Make sure you try it out. We'll always be open-minded.
That's right. That's right. And we're always looking for topic ideas and things like that. And normally we just go off of some of the things that come up in our gaming time together. As friends, we all sit around the gaming table and play tons and tons of games together. And a lot of times the stuff that we talk about on the mics is stuff that we've talked about in our gaming sessions. So if you have issues or if you have questions or if you have things like that you want to just recommend to us, we would love to see that content on our Facebook page. We also have our Google Plus page. Doesn't get as much traffic, but by all means, look us up on Google Plus. And then, of course, theestablishedfacts.com. Josh is going to have all that content at the end of the episode anyway, though. We're going to get into our quick plugs portion of our episode. Before we get into any other plugs, I would like to throw out some dates that are coming up real quick. For all of you con goers, mark your calendars. March 14th through the 16th is the inaugural Indiana Comic Con at the Indiana Convention Center. Super excited about that. Check out their website. The Indiana Pop Con is May 30th through June 1st. And that's going to be another kind of general convention and things like that.
Convention.
That's right, pop culture convention, cosplay, gaming, and all kinds of sci-fi comic stuff and other things like that. For several of us on this podcast, and for many of you who may be factors and booters, Fear the Con 7 is June 13th through the 14th, and I believe the Wing Night is on the 12th, which is the Thursday before. We can't wait to see you. I think I've actually convinced my wife for both of us to be going, and I have been asked by a couple of the hosts on Kicked in the Dice Bags to run some Pathfinder Society stuff. So this may be my first inaugural Fear the Con that I go to and actually run games at. So
I am running with you. I've got
Right.
2 PFS games as well.
yeah, Adam hit me up the other day on Facebook, and he asked me if I show up, if I'd run some stuff. So I think I'm going to make that a
welcome.
point. I'm excited
I'm
about it.
probably going this year too.
Cool.
Good. I'm also running some games for Derek at Gen Con this year.
Are we doing a Hoosier Con this year?
Actually, that was my next one. So the next con that we have in Indiana, for all of you locals, or if you're close and you want to come in, is Hoosier Con. That's WHO'Syercon. Who's Ear Con. And it is February the 21st through the 23rd. Please check out their website. I believe it's HoosierCon.com,
And it is
or you
not
can Google
dedicated-
search.
It's not dedicated to Doctor Who.
It is not dedicated to Doctor Who, but I think they have Doctor Who content.
They do. But-
And it is a free convention. They asked for donations. It is for charity, and they have tons of gaming. I know they usually run Pathfinder Society stuff, and they have Magic tournaments and things like that. So we hope to see you out at that. And with that being said, anybody else?
Mega Man the board
Go
game.
for it, Derek.
Mega Man just.
Oh, yeah, dude. Just finished.
If
If you didn't
Ridiculous
kickstart it,
You ain't
and
getting
get
it for a
the
year.
75
You are not getting
email updates. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it was a huge success.
You are not. I would be willing to say that game's going to be hard to get until October at least.
Probably.
At least.
Because if they actually have a copy of it released at Gen Con, it's going to go like crazy.
Yeah,
So
It's like they wanted $70,000 and they got like $370. or something
it was
like that.
close to.
it was almost $400,000.
Wow.
Yeah, they made about.
And I want to say PayPal is still accepting.
It is.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are.
So
yeah.
you can still technically back it.
go to
Noted.
GascoGames.com and take a look.
I may be getting on there and doing that. Like
Yeah.
as soon as we get done with this episode.
It's worth it. And I certainly have my copy.
And your
Yeah.
gold pieces and your
Yeah.
everything's painted and you got like quadruple.
I'm pretty sure it's an
My
autographed
goodness.
copy from Jason.
Self.
No.
No, but it will be.
But I'm pretty sure Jason, we could probably get him to autograph.
So, Derek, why don't you tell us how you're going to pull at our Bleeding Hearts this year for Fear the Charity?
Okay, so yes, last year, Chad, if you're listening,
Well, you said his name, so he has to now.
It has to.
last year now,
Suck it, Chad.
he
Apparently the phone
challenged me.
started talking.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Kickstarter started playing the video automatically. Bad Kickstarter.
He challenged me because the charities last year were pulling at at everybody's heartstrings. And it was like, well, I bet you can't top this. And yeah, I think I can.
Challenge accepted.
Yes, challenge accepted.
Chad,
Yeah.
why?
I think that this
Why?
may be tough to top, though. So the charity's name is Home of the Innocents.
Oh gosh.
Excuse me while I get my Kleenex.
And what they do, they're based in Louisville, and they help severe people in severe crisis.
Okay.
So they provide homes for children with autism,
Oh, wow.
people who are terminally ill, children, all that stuff. There's a link on the Established Facts.
We have a page now, right at the top of if you go to theestablishedfacts.com, it's right at the top. You go to Fear the Charity, get all the information you need.
Yep.
And I will be updating the Fear the Charity website soon. Now I've got two things going on. First is a raffle that I do every year.
This raffle's awesome this year. It's been awesome every year, but
Pretty
this
sure
year
I'm going
it's...
to buy like 900 tickets.
And I have prize packs, so there's going to be 2 winners. Each pack is one of each pack. So I've got the TV Geek, what I'm calling that pack. It consists of the Sennheiser Momentum on-ear headphones, a Roku 3, a HDMI cable for it, a mount for the Roku for your TV, a ViewSonic HDMI projector with 3D Blu-ray ready, and a case for the projector.
Yeah, a projector.
What? Yeah,
I live in an apartment, but I have a projector.
I mean, I will play my games on the side of my house.
A 70-foot screen, please.
Just saying.
No.
Just saying.
By the
The
raffle.
only person who is excluded from winning is moi.
Yes.
So
Now, Don, make sure your kids stay at least 15 feet away from the television.
Oh my gosh.
and then the second one is second pack. I'm calling the Gaming Geek. That has a Turtle Beach Ear Force XP510 Premium Wireless Dolby Digital Gaming headset.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, no kidding. I did it the first try.
I want to say they actually have those on test at like GameStop and stuff. I know
Yeah.
they have the sets
Best Buy and GameStop both carry Turtle Beach.
so you can go there and try those out
Yeah.
if you don't know what that is.
They're the really expensive ones.
They're really expensive.
Yeah.
There are 2 books. One is a Capcom 30th Anniversary Character Encyclopedia, which I had to put because Mega Man, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then there's The Legend of Zelda Hyrule Historia.
Oh.
So it's a very nice coffee table
Nice.
book.
Nice.
And because I refuse to get into the console wars, I am
You gotta
also
wait.
including a $400 Amazon gift
Oh my god! How much are your raffle tickets? I'm buying 20 of them right now.
Yeah.
But if you notice, it is $400, which can't cover an Xbox One.
You know,
But
I
it
will.
can cover a PS4.
I'm gonna punch you in the Xbox One.
Right.
It will do
Right in the Xbox One.
just about there. Now, all of the money goes to the charity. None of it comes to covering this, and each prize pack is about $700.
Well, that's cool because all I got to do is trade in a couple of Josh's PS4 controllers, and I should be able to cover the rest of the cost.
You know,
Now, hold on a
sell
minute.
some more magic cards.
Clearly, Dinky must have hid them under the bed again.
I don't know
Yeah.
what might have happened to them.
Well, you know what? That's why I love my dogs, because you know what? They can hide stuff where even they can't find them.
That's right. That's right.
So,
The second thing I'm running is an all-nighter dungeon crawl. Old school dungeon crawl.
yeah.
It is based on the Pathfinder rule set. I am creating the dungeon myself.
Oh, Lord. We gonna die.
I've got 2 people, and I need 4 additional people. It's going to start 11:30 on Friday and goes until 7:30 the next morning.
Sounds good.
It will be 12th
third
level characters.
Okay.
And if you... Here we go. You basically collect pledges.
Okay.
And you, the person that collects the most pledges and survives the night gets $50 MasterCard gift card.
Oh, look, see,
my
if I did
God.
that and I got it, I'd be
You still
400
couldn't cover it.
Shut up. Hey, all I got to do is donate 1 pint of plasma. I'm just kidding. Anyhow.
In case you're on a college student budget.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Ramen noodles and mac and cheese.
Oh,
The
yeah.
player
Carbonara.
who has the most money pledge also will get a $50 MasterCard gift card.
See? That's all I got to do.
Now you
Win the
might
raffle,
cover
win the raffle, and
And
have the most sponsorship ever.
And
if you and your character survive,
Oh, okay.
you get a $50. Each person gets a $50.
And a game. Look at that. I can buy, well, almost.
Oh, that's more like
an extra battery pack.
I will.
Half of
I'm
the code.
creating
Okay,
a
Derek,
word
everyone's
first.
going to come just to be involved in your stuff. They're not going to want to do anything else at Fear the Con. Oh, Lord.
The characters are pre-generated.
Okay.
Nice. And I
and-
think you'll be the only one running an overnight game too,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
they finish all their gaming at what, like 10?
Yeah, I specifically told Adam with the Pathfinder Society stuff because I'm going to be in that game. I don't know how many sponsors I'm going to get yet, but I'm going to be in it. I told him I'm not available slot 1 on Saturday or slot 4 because if I'm
Yeah.
going to be overnight, I'm going to be dragging Sirius butt.
Well, one of the other things about all of Derek's games, especially when he does them himself, is he really outdoes himself with like the Jenga or the
Yeah.
deck of many things,
Puzzles and, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Which ought to be fun if we're
Or
all
having,
drinking beer at 3:30 in the
two
morning.
different groups of players building up a fort between.
That's Siege
He's
is-
doing that
I'm
game.
doing that at Fear the
I'm in it. I'm excited.
Yes, I have Siege is being run at Fear the Con, so you will actually be able to lob things over at the other people.
Oh, my gosh.
Going to make a makeshift catapult.
Yeah.
Yep.
How many slots do you have for that game?
For which,
Get on and find out.
get on fearthecon.com, find and go under activities.
I'm in the middle of recording a podcast. If you have.
I have my phone.
It'll be one slot for every 50 raffle tickets.
I am running 5 slots plus an overnight out of the 6 slots.
You're out of your mind.
Yes,
I mean,
I am.
I mean, I love you, but you're out of your mind.
So that's why he's
someone
not
else is-
driving home.
Yes.
Someone else is driving my butt home.
Well, how are you getting out there in the first place?
I don't know.
What? Because you're going out a day early.
We're coming out a day after.
Oh, okay.
Are you going out on Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I want to go to the Booters and Shooters.
Oh, they can.
We
set
wanted
up
to, but
What is?
Can't get off work.
So they get together, Fear the Booters get together, and they shoot weapons and stuff.
What?
Yeah.
I'm going on Wednesday.
No, I actually have a weapon. I
But
want
we
to go.
don't. I know,
it's all
right?
right,
But we don't have the
Debbie.
day off.
Debbie, I will borrow your gun and clean it. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll borrow it. It's cool.
They
I'll
actually
make sure
provide-
your gun is shot.
They will provide weapons as far as I know right now. So don't quote me on this. They will provide. You just need to provide ammunition, and
Which is expensive enough as it is.
Out of curiosity, is there an age limit?
I'm
Yeah,
assuming
sure
there
there
is.
is.
Okay.
Well,
I'm
and if
sure
it's
there's a lot of
if it's a
limitations
public
to that.
range, there's definitely an age limit.
Then-
I
There is.
just wanted to make sure that was
yeah.
specified.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
But so yes, that's what's going on at Fear the Con. I hope to see everybody there.
You have to be at least this tall.
Oh, and you have to physically be present to win the raffle
Well,
prize. Yes.
Good to know.
And it'll be
I'll be
between
there.
slots 5 and 6.
Yep.
Got it. Oh my gosh.
There you go. Make sure you show up.
Oh yeah.
Can get like
I had to call
$600
my
worth of
grandma,
free
"Grandma,
stuff.
will
Mikey
you sponsor
Mason.
me?"
Mikey Mason's
How
going to
much
be at
do
the
you need?
wings.
Like
Yes.
$12,000.
Mikey Mason.
What do you get on your social
Did you say it was 600 per thing or 700?
That's
That's horrible.
We raised 1,600 last year.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
such a small con.
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, there's
can we
like,
do it again?
There's less than 400 people to go.
Yeah.
So I mean, $1,600 is
Yeah.
That's
It's huge.
that's a
So
good
the Fear,
chunk of money.
the Fear the Boot community has always been very generous. So
Yeah, it was
I'm
amazing.
not that surprised. I just was like, wow, cool.
Wow.
This works.
And then there's Chad.
Mikey Mason's playing at
Yes.
Worldwide Wing Night. So make sure if you like Mikey Mason, come out to
Oh,
Worldwide
that's
Wing
cool.
Night at Fear the Con.
All right.
I think we're there.
Is that everybody?
I-
Has everybody got their plugs
for
in?
now,
For
yeah.
now? Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, well, being that this is 2014, the first episode that we have gotten a chance to record, I think this is episode...
Bye, Jeremy.
What, 60... 61?
Ninja Poof.
62.
62! Episode 62.
Well, wasn't the last episode that
58.
you released?
58, but that was because it was a back episode, and it's all right.
It was sitting on my drive, and I completely forgot about
It's okay.
it.
We're
It's a
on
good... If you have not gotten a chance to listen to episode 58...
It was worth a 4-week wait.
It's a very good episode.
It's a good
It's the
episode.
Lost Levels.
It
It's
is
a
the
lost
Lost
level.
Levels,
I
yeah.
almost didn't release it to make it like that fabled one,
That's
like
right. Why
Fear
did
the
you
Boots
guys- why did you guys-
300, which
yeah.
I
It was like 200.
57 to
yeah.
59. Yeah. So,
Let's go to 99-101.
that's right. So we are going to start fresh and new and clean, and we have got our first established fact for 2014, and it comes via Jeremy the Ragar. We have moved from the general gaming circuit to the professional gaming circuit. All right. And with that, thank you so much
found
for
what he said.
listening.
Anyone
Yeah,
interested?
well, you know.
Anyone interested in sponsoring the Established Facts? Please contact Josh at the Established Facts.
Oh no, no, that's not even fair. Big Don at theestablishedfacts.com.
Hugs and hearts. XOXO.
If you want to be self-centered, you
Lord.
can contact Don and Josh, but if you want to support charities, you can contact Derek.
Derek.
Hey, it'll still go to charity.
It's all going.
It'll go to charity via my
Oh,
Xbox
that's
One.
Right, that's right. That's you
Via
got
his
Xbox
Xbox One.
Oh,
You got there early.
That's right. That's right. You know, if you love America, you'll sponsor Don.
God bless America.
God bless America.
This episode
We
is
the
over.
people. All right.
The
Thank you
episode's
so
over,
much.
everybody.
Thank you
Get
so
off
much.
now while you
Vote
can.
for the established facts.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you enjoyed.
Cheers.
Bye.
See ya.
Please visit us at www.theestablishedfacts.com and our Facebook page, facebook.com/theestablishedfacts. If you would like to support us by buying some merchandise, visit cafepress.com/castingrobot.